All right, bless everyone. How's my family? All right, we are grateful to the Most High for you all that came out today, and I want to make mention of, acknowledge rather, my granddaughter being in the service. Yes, Onyx is here, and we are grateful to the Most High for another addition to the family. It's nothing like family, and so we are grateful for Onyx, her father, Jazan, and Mobina being here today. Also, we have about 6 of these left. Was Africa's Christianity before Europe's Christ? We have about 6 left, and we have the African origins of Easter. I think this one is African origins of Easter is 25, and the one that me and Rev Haru did together is 30. And Charles Nero, I need you to come in. He sent me a text concerning this. Oh, he's counting? Okay, I'll have him come up later. But he sent me a text concerning the book that me and Rev put together after he read that first section that I was privileged to do. And I wanted him rather to give a blast on that because it was real powerful what he had to say. All right. So again, we thank the Most High for you all that are here. And I guess the rest of everybody's still partying. You know, me and Pastor we say sometime, and we're not saying this out of a wrong attitude, but every now and then we say, Mother, it would be nice just to get up Sunday morning or Saturday evening and just text and say, hey, I won't be there, But I love what I do, but I guess I'm just due for a vacation or something. I need a break. But we are, everybody needs. I mean, even Yeshua took breaks from people. Yeah, he had to in order to, I'm sure, to keep his sanity, because dealing with people all the time, and them trying to figure out what you're doing, and you don't have know what you're doing yourself, you just being led and moving, and so it's a great responsibility, and we love again what we do, and we appreciate you for being here today. All right, let's get going. Genesis chapter 1 is where we're going to start. Genesis chapter 1. We'll start right there. Today is our Sunday to receive our Holy Eucharist together, and we will be moving into that right after we are finished with the Word. You ready to be encouraged today? All right, all right. Once we get settled soon here, I want to get back. We want to get back to Wednesday evenings, so we can really take our time and teach on other things that we need to know about. But on Sunday, we want to really do our best to keep you encouraged. Me and Rev Haru was talking, and I said, man, it seemed like everybody is going through something. I mean, in church, out of church, it just seemed like, it just seems crazy. And he said that he was telling me that the scales are tilted toward chaos in this season that we're in. And that's why it seemed like anything that can go wrong goes wrong. Because right now, it's all about balancement of deeds and order. But he was just sharing with me this particular season that we're in, the scales are tipped towards chaos. And I thought that would be important for you to know. So when things look really crazy, where did this come from? What is this? You need to just know that. And we're going to be speaking more on that as we move along here, okay? Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 3, and then we're going to go to Revelations chapter 12 and look at 1 through 9 and get moving here. Genesis chapter 1, 1 through 3, and then Revelations 12, 1 through 9. Let's begin reading Genesis chapter 1, 1 through 3. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was what? The Most High said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Run over to Revelations chapter 12. Revelations chapter 12. And we're going to look at verse 1 through 9. Let's begin reading. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. This is some of the stuff that I want to break down on Wednesday that we can't do on a Sunday. All right? Look, verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to the throne, his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there and 1,260. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called who? The devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into where? Cast out where? Into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Let's go on and read verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuseth them before our God day and night. You may be seated. In Genesis, the creation, between verse 1 and 2, is considered and is believed to be creation and reconstruction view. It is called the creation and reconstruction view. It says that between verse 1 and 2, something, it was a great catastrophe occurred. Because we know that the Most High did not create the earth in the condition that we just read about, being void, being wasted, being empty. We know he didn't create it that way. And so a great catastrophe occurred and believed to be the fall of Lucifer or Satan. And you can read about that in Exodus chapter 28, the fall of Lucifer or Satan. This caused the Most High's original plan in his perfect creation to become without form and without void and void. Since the Creator didn't create the earth waste and empty, only a mighty cataclysm could explain the chaotic condition in verse 2. I want to look at something and real quickly in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 18. I want to just show you from the prophet Isaiah just how the earth was created. And we saw that in Genesis chapter 1, but I also want to show you in Isaiah 45, 18. And it says, "For thus said the Lord that created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it. He has established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else." He created the earth and formed it to be inhabited. And so from that, we can see something had to happen between verse 1 and 2, because in verse 2, now all of a sudden we have something that's void and is dark, is empty, is wasted. That's what void means, that it is empty. And we know he didn't create the earth that way, waste and empty. And so it has been pointed out that the word was, W-A-S, could also be translated had become or became without form and void. In other words, it wasn't, again, created this way, but it had become or it had became without form and without void. The earth had become waste and empty. That's what that means. When it says without form, it means waste, and void is simply saying it was empty. And again, we know that the Most High did not create the earth empty and waste. So the Most High came out of darkness. And a lot of people don't understand that part either. That when he said, "Let there be light," when the Most High said, "Let there be light," the Most High had to come out of darkness and also had to comprehend what light was before light became. And so he came out of darkness and said, "Let there be." And as a matter of fact, those words, "let there be," is the same word that was W-A-S. It means the same thing. The W-A-S was without form and void, and "let there be," these happen to be the same word connected to the word was, which mean when the Most High stepped out, the Most High simply said, "Light be," or "light become." And we have it in the scripture as, and he said, "Let there be light." But when the Most High speaks, there are declarations. He declares things. He didn't say, "Let there be." You got to always remember that you miss something in biblical translation when you go from one language to another, when you are trying to interpret some things that you're not familiar with. And so you are interpreting from your perspective, from your culture, from your opinion. You giving your opinion of what happened. But when we look at the words, that's why when you study, you all that study the Bible, you need to look up these words, because these words will give you the true meaning of what's really being said. And so there is a physical darkness. And we're talking about the darkness in Genesis chapter 1. It said darkness was on the face of the deep. But there's more than one darkness. Anytime we hear darkness in the church, immediately we think about moral darkness. We thinking about things that are bad, things that are not good, things that are connected to the enemy. But there's a physical darkness, there's spiritual darkness, there's a moral darkness, implying ignorance or error. Works of darkness practiced by men in darkness or in secret. So when someone is doing something that is not right in darkness and in secret, this is considered being in a dark place. And so I wanted you to understand and really get the understanding that when you hear the word darkness, it has more than one meaning. And so we spoke about the Most High coming out of darkness. In Exodus chapter 14 and verse 20, you can see when he came to his people on the Mount Sinai, he came in thick darkness. And in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 11, and Deuteronomy 5, 22 and 23, again, the Most High appeared to his people and came out of darkness. And this is important because, especially when it comes to the Nubian Melaninite family, because we've always equated dark, black, anything of that nature, we've always equated it with something being bad, and that's not so. So you cannot have an up without a down. You cannot have a positive without a negative. Order without chaos. There would be no need for order without chaos. Why would we need order if we didn't have chaos? Why would we need balance if there was an imbalance? You can't know one without the other. You cannot. It's impossible to know one without the other. That's why when you experience some things that you experience in life that you don't like all that well, and unless you experience that, you would never be able to appreciate the things that are opposite of what you are now experiencing. Are y'all there? And so we have to realize this. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot appreciate one without the other. How could you appreciate being in a better place if you were always in a good place? Are y'all there? So there is a need for balance. A need for balance without imbalance. So order comes out of chaos. That's the title of this message. Order out of chaos. And you have to get this, and I really been praying that you get this, because so many lives are in a chaotic mess right now. Some people talk about it, some people don't. Most people try to stay private with whatever's going on with them, but the Most High know where we are. And so, but you have to know today that order cannot show up without the chaos that's in your life. You need order, but it can't come without chaos. It's like, why would you need something if there wasn't something else to cause you to have a need? Why would I need certain things if something didn't show up to cause me to have a need for something else to take care of the place where I'm at? You have to know, church, that this is a universe, and we serve a creator that has placed balance within the universe. I mean, so much so that the Most High just stepped out and just put the earth where it is, and there is nothing at all keeping the earth in orbit but the word of the Most High. And so if there wasn't a balance, if the sun wasn't sitting in a particular location, if it was too close to the earth, we would burn up. If it was too far away, we wouldn't get the things that we needed from that. So there is balance. This is a universe and a place of balance. And without the balance, that's what's going on with the earth today. They're putting so much junk in the water and shooting so much poison in the sky. It's causing things to become unbalanced. This is why this is a season where the scales are tipped toward chaos, and it is not unusual in a world where everyone is not doing the things that the Most High is requiring for us to do. And so we are living now in a chaotic mess, and many people's lives are in a chaotic mess. And so, but I want you to understand today that the order and the balance will come, because it cannot stay the way it is. So if order comes out of chaos, this is the lesson that I got to really get for myself. If order comes out of chaos, if there must be a balance, there must be a balance with the imbalance. There must be a positive with the negative. There's got to be a polarity. There's got to be something opposite to whatever you're going through. So whatever you may be going through today, you need to understand that there's a day when things will shift. There's a day when things will be tilted, and there was a day when things will become balanced, and you won't continue to live in that place all the time. Have you ever been going through some things sometime and you say, man, look like this is not going to ever stop. Look like this is not going to ever go away. Look like this is going to be the condition of my life for I don't know how long. And sometimes it feels like things are not going to ever change. But I'm here today to tell you that order comes out of have chaos. And if you just wait and be patient and make sure that your internal world is together, you got to keep things right on the inside. Because when I'm balanced on the inside, the balancement on the inside will bring balancement to my life on the outside. If I got chaos on the inside, I'm going to have chaos on the outside. So it is important that you keep your internal world together, so when you're going through chaotic stuff, you've got to know in your mind and in your spirit that it's a day of reckoning. There's a day when the scales will be tipped in my favor. There's a day when balance will come to my life, and it will not be like this forever. It won't be like this forever. So when life seems to be empty, wasted, void, making no sense, you must realize that you are created in the image and in the likeness of the Most High. You've got to understand that. You've got to realize that everything must come into balance. Everything must come into a place where it won't stay lopsided. It won't stay against me. It won't stay tilted against me. You've got to realize that whatever you're dealing with today, that it's going to come to a place and come to a time you'll wake up one morning and find that everything is the way that it should be. It's not tilted toward anything that's going to cause problems for your life. You won't continue to be oppressed. You won't continue to have to go through that. You won't continue to keep finding yourself in relationships and things that's not doing you any good. There's a time that will come, but it has to be on you to make sure you got yourself right, to make sure you're walking in patience, make sure you're walking in the things that are necessary to bring balancement to your life. Life is not meant for you to stay lopsided on one side of things that's not working for you. Life is not, this is not how it's been set up. So when there is not balance in your life, you've got to know that balance is coming. You have to know that. Because when you stay in a place so long, this is what gives you the thoughts. Am I ever going to come out? Am I ever going to get past this? Am I going to ever find the right person? I keep finding the same crazy people. You know, let me tell you one of the reasons why you keep meeting the same crazy people, because there's something crazy on the inside of you that's attracting these people. Are y'all there? That's why you keep bumping into the wrong folk, because you are attracting that which is in you. Are y'all there? Why keep attracting this kind of man? Because something in you drives you toward that kind of person. Why keep attracting this type of woman? Because there's something in you that draws you to that. So when you change your internal world, your outside world will take care of itself. You can draw the things that are necessary and that you desire in your life and stay away from those things that you don't desire. This all begins and ends with you. See, we don't have anybody to blame, and that's why we need to stop going to church and looking for somebody to make me happy all the time and not have to do no work on myself. I'm responsible for what comes in my life. I'm responsible that even when I get some things in my life that I don't like, if I'm balanced on the inside, that means that whatever's in my life now has got to change at some point, because what's in me is not in line with the thing that's coming to me. It has to change, because the universe has been set up that way. The Most High set it up that way. That's why you can't live in pain all your life. That's not balance. But you got to have some pain. Are y'all there? Pain will come. Hurt will come. Disappointment will come. But you can't live lopsided like that and all of that stuff. At some point, it has to balance itself out. I'll have my pain, but I'm also going to have my days with no pain. I'm going to have my season of no pain. I'm going to have my season of having everything straight with my finances. It has to change. That's the main thing I want you to get today. Whatever you're going through, it has to change. It cannot stay that way. It is an only way it can stay that way if you create the atmosphere inside of yourself to keep it that way. But if you do what's necessary with your life, change will come. That wasn't just a great song, it was a true song. A change is going to come. But the change got to be in you. You've got to have some things straight with you. And you have to watch the change materialize as you take care of business concerning yourself. You can't complain. One of the secrets of getting things right in your life is to be grateful, have gratitude. You can't complain so much about what's not that you're not giving thanks and gratitude for what is. So when you are grateful for what you got, then you can expect things to change in your life, because life will not bring nothing to you if you are complaining about where you are right now. We all live in places that we don't want to be in. We all live in circumstances from time to time that we don't want to be in. We all have to experience hurt. We all have to experience pain. We all get disappointed from time to time. But I can't let any of those things keep me from being grateful for what I have, being grateful for what the Most High has done for me all of my life. All of our lives. And we get stuck on something that we don't want. And when I get stuck there, it takes my gratitude away. All of a sudden, I'm ungrateful. I'm unthankful. Why is this happening to me? What's going on with this? What's going on? And you become a complainer. And the reason why you're complaining is because inside of you lives an area of unthankfulness. And we're not thankful for what we have. And so instead of allowing order to come and deal with the chaos, I keep living in chaos because of the chaotic mess that's on the inside of me. I can only be what's internally. What's on the inside of me. You can only produce that which you believe you are. Whatever on the inside of you believe in, that's why you keep getting what you get. And if you examine your life, you'll see that's true. Not changing. Not want to, not want to be humble in certain areas of your life. You know how some of us are, we always got to be right. Huh? Am I right? We always got to be right. I don't care about nothing. I know I'm right. And even if you are right, see, that's where humility comes in at. Can I be humble enough just to solve the situation? Yeshua said, blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers. So somebody's got to say, forget about being right. I want some peace. And in order to have peace, you have to sometimes take a back seat to your position. It ain't about you. It ain't about your position. It's about pleasing the Most High. And so, when life seems empty, wasted, void, making no sense, you must realize that you've been created in the image and the likeness of the Most High, the Creator. And you can speak to your situation and change it. If you speak to it today, will it change today? Not in your view, not looking at it physically, but the moment you speak it, you change it. And you have to wait on the change to see the manifestation of it outside of yourself. Are y'all hearing this? You see, so you got to have it here first. You got to come out of the place where you are and speak to it. And you say the same words that the Creator said, because you're attempting to create something different in your life. So what do? You step out of the place that you're in and you say, let there be. And it will be. But it's not going to be seen as quickly as you may like to see it. But once you say it, you got to know that what I just spoke is surely going to come to pass. Why? Because I am created in the image and likeness of the Creator. And when I speak and when I say, let there be what? Let there be finances. This house is not moving real good with money right now. So let there be finances in this house. You got to declare some things and know that once you make that declaration, that what you have declared will surely come to pass. You leave the how up to who? That's none of your business. How? I wonder how it's coming. Because most times when we need things in our life, we sit down and we think about the different places where we think it might come from. And if you would like me, it always comes from a place you never thought about. But it comes. But it don't come, you thought it was coming here. You thought it was coming there. And then out of nowhere, something happens and it just happens. Because we don't know what direction the universe is going to work for us. All I need to know is that it's going to work. That's what I need to know. That it's going to work. It's going to come to pass. Why? Because I declared it. I decreed it. And when I decree a thing, it's going to happen. It's going to come to pass. When you decree, ain't that what Job said? Decree the thing and it'll come to pass. How? Don't know. When? Don't know. I just know that when I decreed it, it happened right there. And there's some things happening in the spirit. Remember, most times when things are needed in our life, the Most High seems like he's taking forever. Why? Because things have to be shifted. People have to be moved. Locations have to be changed. Things have to happen in order for this to come to place in your life. So you have to give life time to work on what you have declared and decreed. It takes time. You say, okay, you need this thing in your life. You need this in your life. It takes time for the universe to shift stuff and move people and do this and to do that, to get the thing in position so you can walk in that you declare. But you've got to learn how to be patient and be grateful for what you got. Be grateful. The scripture says, Proverbs 11:1, a false balance is an abomination. See? A false balance. So whatever is not balanced in your life, it's an abomination. It is a morally, that word abomination means morally disgusting. That cannot remain in your life. Why? Because it's a false balance. And the universe is made to be a balanced and orderly place. This is why we know there was some kind of catastrophe that happened between verse 1 and 2 in Genesis, because Isaiah 45:18 also proves to us that the earth was made to be inhabited. And so in verse 2 in Genesis, it said it was dark, it was void, it was empty, something happened. But now, once I start understanding and realizing who I am, I have authority. And that's the thing that you have to always remember, that you walk in authority. We say namastu. It's just not a good word, but that's the divinity in me bowing to the divinity in you. We are divinity. I am divinity. So I have to know when I speak something, I'm just not speaking it to be speaking it. But along with speaking it, I got work to do. I have some things I've got to do. I decree and declare that this marriage is going to be what I said it's going to be. But now after you say that, you set some stuff in motion, but you may have to do some things to bring that word to pass. It just don't happen. You got to put in some work. This is what Peter was saying when he said, add to your faith. I have faith for something, but now I got to add to my faith. So when I decree and declare and I'm trusting and I'm believing and I got faith, what I may have to add? I may have to add some things to bring that word that I spoke about my marriage, my children, whatever the situation may be. I may have to do some things to help that word come to pass. And so I must add to whatever I declare and decree. What do I need to do with that? See, and those are questions you got to ask. What should I do? What can I do to help bring my life out of chaos? Because I'm speaking order. But now, what do I need to do? What is my role in bringing order? What is my role in bringing order to my house? What is my role in bringing order and balance to my finances? What is my role in bringing order? You have a role. And that's right. You have to be intentional. Things just don't happen. Remember, we learned that. We learned that from monotheism. They taught us to walk in blind faith. Just believe. I'm believing it's going to happen. No, I gotta believe, but I also have to step out and do something because I have a responsibility. We lost responsibility from the teachings that we've gotten in church year after year after year. We lost our responsible role in it all by singing songs about Jesus will fix it. And the Jesus that we speak of course, Yeshua living on the inside of you. You have to fix it with the divinity that's on the inside of you. Stop waiting on somebody to give you a handout or stop waiting on somebody to drop something out of heaven. You've got to fix this thing. Whatever it is. Either fix it or leave it alone. But I cannot throw away my responsibility and say, Jesus will fix it. After a while. And we sitting around here waiting on Jesus to fix stuff that we supposed to fix. So we praying, maybe if I pray harder. No, maybe if you start moving and doing some things more, you'll get the answer. It don't have nothing to do with your prayer life, which is important. But you have a responsibility to make life work for you. So if you want order to replace the chaos, you got work to do. You got work to do. See, we have forces. You know, we know about the devil and Satan. But some of us don't take this stuff serious enough. We got forces working against us. That's why some things are difficult. Sometimes you've done everything you know how to do, but you got forces working against you. In Revelations chapter 12, you saw that concerning the dragon called the devil and Satan. These dragons or the dragon was reptilians from Dracos, Dracos. Dracos constellation. These are some of the things we like to get into a little bit more so we can really get an understanding of what we're dealing with. These are reptilians. Remember, we talked to you about the people that's in the earth that have 6 fingers and 6 toes. That's in the scripture, in Samuel. There are people walking among us. There are demons. There are Dracos. There are dragons. There are reptilians that walk among us. You don't even know who they are. And we have to know that there's forces that work against us. These are the same dragons or Dracos, reptilians, that you see in Genesis chapter 3. The serpent was the most subtle. And remember that the enemy was here first. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to read Revelation chapter 12, to show you that the devil was cast to the earth. So when we got here, guess who was here? We, created in the image and likeness of the Most High, we came into the earth with devils walking around looking like you and me. I'm sure you can remember some devils, people that have been in your life up to this point in your life. If you think hard enough, some of you don't have to think too hard. Some devils that been in your life. Because you say, I can't figure out what is wrong with them. I don't know why they did me like that. I don't know how these were devils. The same way the Holy Spirit fills you is the same way the devil fills other people. And so we have devils walking among us. Those that were cast out of heaven. Because these demons, these dragons lived. They lived in the constellation, and the constellation is simply a group or a gathering of stars that look like, they could look like people, look like animals. And they lived in certain places in the heavenlies. And they was cast down to the earth. And we got to deal with them. But I believe part of us dealing with them is to help us become who we are. Because in order for me to become who I am, who I really am, I got to deal with some oppression. I got to deal with things that may come to oppress. And as I work my way through the enemy, it just makes me the person that I am. And I begin to realize that I am divinity. I don't just say I am divinity. I am divinity. That's why when there's something going on in your life and it's not right, and you make up your mind that you're done with it, what happens to it? See? Because once you understand who you are and the divinity in you, anything outside of you don't stand a chance with the power of who you are. And I'll say it and I'll keep on saying it, the problem with people is we don't know who we are. But the moment I realize that I am really divinity, that's what happens to an alcoholic. That's what happens to a drug addict. That's what happens to people that are addicted to things. That's what happens to people that their lives are on a path of destruction. When they realize who they are, it just stops. And then people see you years later. What happened to you? I thought you was dead, or whatever the case may be. I made a decision. See, that's the first thing you need to tell people. I made a decision. And I knew I was better than that. And maybe a friend of mine or a preacher or somebody reminded me of who I was, and when I received that, things changed immediately. Because anything that's not right in my life has to go when I understand and realize who I am. I have power. I have the power. And I don't care if you just, that's why a person can just come to church one Sunday and hear a word and walk out the door and never use drugs again, never use alcohol again. Why? Because they heard something, it got on the inside of them, they realized who they are. This thing don't have power over me, I have power over it, and they quit almost instantaneously. That's what happens to us. I went to a drug program. The drug program did, the best thing the drug program did for me was made me realize I had a problem. You know how when you're getting high, you're in denial. I can stop whenever I want to. But you know you can't because you tried before. But the moment you get the revelation that I got a problem and I can solve the problem, if I got myself in this mess, I got the power over this mess to come out. I have the power within me to turn this chaos into order. Balance my life. And that's it. You know, you may have some physical things to deal with, depending on what you was doing. If it was alcohol or drugs, you may have the shakes. Your body is getting rid of, detoxing, and all kind of things are happening. But the point that I want you to get is that you and I have power to declare the life we want. We have that power. You are not weak. You're just not ready to do it. See, your mind is not made up. It's not that you're weak. How you going to be weak created in an image and likeness of the Most High? How you going to be weak? See, who told you was weak? Yeah, who told you? Who told you were naked? Who told you were a drug addict? Who told you? Who told you were no good? Who told you you were weak and you couldn't stop doing something? See? And when you examine that, you find out it was you told you that. But you can change whatever you want to change. And I want you to be encouraged because we're living in times where things are pretty chaotic. But you don't have to allow all the chaotic mess that's around you to get in you. Keep it out of you. When you're in the ocean, in the boat, where the boat is supposed to be, in the water, and you just going along, got your pole in the water, catching some fish, that's cool. The problem is, if you way out in the ocean with your pole in the water and the water started getting in the boat, see, now we got an issue. And so we got to do what's necessary to keep the water out the boat and keep the things that belong on the outside, and develop what belongs on the inside. You got to keep what don't belong on the inside out. And don't let outside circumstances get inside of you. See, that's work. That's homework assignment. This week, I got to make sure that whatever's out there trying to come in here, I got to block. I got to keep it off of me. I got to keep it away from me. Because I'm divinity. When I know who I am, it keeps me from who I'm not. When I know who I am, that will keep you from who you're not. So nobody has to say nothing to you when you know who you are. You go around a situation and things are happening in a certain environment that's not you. No one has to tell you, hey, you don't belong over there with those people. No, you tell you, I don't belong over here with those people because that's not who I am. So I hang out with who I am. That's why when I find a group that's like me, that's who I hang out with. But when something is going on, if they're over in this corner, getting high and doing their thing, I know that ain't me. So I'm not drawn to go over there because it's not me. But then when I'm lied to and believe that it's me, then I'll find myself attracted to things that are not really me. And I do that because I don't really realize who I am. So this week, deal with the chaos. Whatever it may be, just deal with it. I am not letting that get in me. Some of y'all got to tell yourself, sometimes when it gets tight financially, we can say some of the dumbest things. You have to stop that. You don't have to lie. You just got to face the facts, but don't let that poverty broke spirit get inside of you. See, I'm not letting that get in me because I know who I am. I'm divinity. And just because I don't see what I want to see right now, that don't mean I'm not going to see it, because I have to see it, because this thing has to be balanced. There's got to be balancement. There's got to be order coming to me because I'm in all this chaos. And that's a good place to pray. Pray the scripture. You see, Most High, and they read your word says that a false balance is an abomination. I've been out of balance too long. And I'm decreeing and declaring some things today in my life that this is going to change. Now, I need you to just show me whatever my role is in bringing about the change. Because I know I got a role in this. I'm not making you responsible because you gave me that responsibility. So I just need some guidance in knowing, what do I do? What role do I play? What can I say? How can I make this better? Because I already decreed and declared it's going to be better. So what is my role in making it better? I'm not looking at my wife. I'm not looking at my husband. I'm not looking at the employer or anybody else. What is my role? You understand? Is that clear? Remember who you are. And don't let stuff that's in your life throw you off. It sure will. I done had a whole lot of stuff just throw me off. And so you got to have somebody good you can talk to, too. Somebody with some common sense. They ain't got to be a PhD. Just have common sense. They don't even have to go to school. Just have common sense. Because a person that really loves you and cares about you can say a couple of words to you and change your whole situation, especially internally. Put you in a better perspective. Help you perceive things differently. Remember who you are. And know that things have to change. Have to change. But you have a role in the change. So I'm not hoping for change. I have the control and power over change. And it may not happen tomorrow morning. All I need to know is that it's going to happen. Notice I said I need to know, not believe. I know it's going to happen. How do you know that? I feel it all in the inside. It's all in my bones. Change is all on the inside of me. So I know it's going to happen. And we walk through all of this chaos together. You know it's chaotic. It's crazy. But don't let the craziness of the world or other people get in you. Can't happen. Because then you're going to become like the thing you want to get away from. So you have to take care of you. I'm number one. I got to take care of me. If I don't take care of me, it's not going to be good for my wife. It's not going to be good for anything that's connected to me. And I have the power to do that. So things will change when you call for it. If you don't call for change, won't be none. And if you don't call for it and do what you need to do to bring about the change, then you need to stop complaining. And everything that's going wrong in your life, you need to be grateful for all the madness that's in your life because you're creating it. Don't complain about it. So when you walk out of the door today and something turns upside down in your life, you say, hey, welcome it. You did it. You create chaos, but you're looking for order. How did that work? I create all this chaos, but I'm going to walk out the door and I'm looking for something to be in order. When my life is a chaotic mess on the inside. We play a pretty good game. James talked about not deceiving yourself. You look in the mirror, you know you're tripped. You know what you're doing with yourself. And then you walk away and forget what you've done and somehow think you're going to bring some order in your life. First person you got to be real with is who? And once you're real with yourself, then you can start seeing some real things happen. So if you're not willing to do your part, don't complain about nothing. Don't complain about nothing. Say, you know what? I deserve what I got. I deserve to have no money. I deserve to be in this condition that I'm in because I put myself here. So ain't no need of you praying and saying, deliver me. If you put yourself in that, you got to get yourself out of it. And the person and the deliverance that's needed and the help that may be needed supernaturally, you walk around with every day. Divinity didn't leave. Even when you do something that's not correct, divinity don't just leave you and say, I'm done with you. That's the third time you did that. I don't want nothing else to do with you. But the book I read says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. So let's get our lives together in the midst of this chaotic world we live in. Even in the midst of chaos in the house, somebody's got to stand up and say, hold up. Got to make this change. I got to do what I got to do. And if you're a man, you the leader. You the leader. She's a leader too, but somebody's got to say, okay, let's bring some order to this and make it right. Get the ego out the way. Get the ego out the way. It's not about you. It's about making sure that you're pleasing the Most High. Come on, let's give the Most High a hand.